Good morning friends and welcome to the pre-market view. US markets clocked solid gains on Friday. They were up about 0.7 to almost about 0.9%, and for this month itself the US market has been up about 2.5 to almost about 3% as the fear of the rate hike have receded. And there is a general sense that the rate hike could get delayed to about September, and the bond yields too have cooled off. European markets too were up anywhere from 1 to 3%, and in fact for the first time FTSE has managed to close above 7,000 levels. And when we look at the Asian markets today morning, the color is green. Nikkei is up almost about 1.2%, Hang Seng 2 is up about 0.4%, and Shanghai is up almost about 1.15%. And SGX Nifty, however, is suggesting that we are going to open up about 5 to 6 points higher. So on a flattish note. In terms of flows, FI, the net buyers in the cash market on Friday to the tune of about 355 crore. The domestic institutions, however, were sellers to the tune of about 219 crore. Our own markets have remained distinctly weak for the past few sessions, and we've seen that both Bank Nifty and Nifty have lost anywhere from about 6 to almost about 8%, and this is despite the continuous flows by the FII. So there is a feel that probably the overall sentiment would remain a little on a weaker side. On that note, let me invite our F&O expert to take you through important data points and strategies that we can have from the F&O side.
Good morning friends, let's have a view on derivatives. Since start of the March series, we have seen that Nifty has been continuously trading with negative bias. We have seen a fall of around 600 points during the series. We have seen a fall from its lifetime high around 9292 levels to 8580 odd levels. On Friday, we have seen that Nifty started the session on a flattish to positive note, but it has been noticing that it is unable to sustain at higher levels. And we have seen that many of the blue chip counters started with trading with negative bias like NTPC, BPCL, BHEL, ICCL and Jindal Steel, which were down in the range of 3% to 6% each, which supported the index to hit a fresh intraday low at around 8580 odd levels. And Nifty finally ended the session at 8602 levels with a loss of 0.39%. In this period, we have seen that short positions were built up by market players as open interest increased by 0.83% from 2 crore 58 lakhs to 2 crore 60 lakhs. Approximately 2.15 lakh shares were added in open interest, but Nifty futures price decreased by approximately 25 to 30 rupees. Cost of carry is increased significantly by from 0.56 to 16.58%. Also, Nifty futures premium increased significantly from 1 points to 31 odd levels. On the options front, PCR remained at same at 0.87, but we have seen that call option has seen good build-up than call option. On put option. On Friday's trade, we have seen that call option has added around 27 lakh shares in open interest, whereas put option has added around 11 lakh shares in open interest. India VIX was down by 6.59% and finally settled at 14.26%. In the options activity, we have seen that significant amount of open interest was seen in 8,600 followed by 8,700 call option. As we have seen that 8,600 has added 50% shares in open interest and 8,700 has added 11.22% shares in open interest. On the put option side, we have seen that people have squared off their positions in 8,600 put option, as we have seen that 5% shares were reduced in 8,600 put option, and that activity was shifted to 8,500, which has added approximately 5% shares in open interest. Looking at the options data, we can see 8,600 would be an important level to watch for, and being an expiry, we can see a huge intraday whipsaws in the coming trading sessions. On bank period front, there is one security in bank period, which is India Real Estate. On Friday, FIs were net sellers of 575.37 crore in DEX futures. They were net sellers of 1,315.88 crore in DEX options. They were net sellers of 18.54 crore in stock futures, and they were net sellers of 93.14 crore in stock options. Our Friday CUF stands at 8,700. Lower range for the market would be 8,500 and higher range would be 8,700. Currently, Singapore Nifty is up by 2 points, which is at 8614. We may see a marginal flattish to positive start in Nifty futures today. That's it from derivatives. Thank you.
Friends, let me take you through Sharekhan pre-market action starting with trading ideas. First of all, long call on ITC as the media reports indicate that the government of India is considering delaying the implementation of the rule that requires cigarette makers to cover 85% of their product packs with health warnings. So this is a bit of a relief for a company like ITC, so one can go long there with the stop loss of 322 at a target of about 336 to about 342. Sesa Sterlite long call as the Ministry of Environment and Forecast has finally issued the much awaited order and lifted the suspension of the environment clearances of 72 mining leases. So they will be able to start operations in Goa soon. So one can go long there with the stop loss of 184 and the target of about 194 to about 200. JSPL negative news as after 2 weeks of re-examination, the coal ministry did not approve the bids received for 3 of the 8 coal blocks being scrutinized. So that's a negative development for JSPL. So one can short that with a stop loss of 169 and a target of about 158 to about 152. Jet Airways, there are some issues with its subsidiary Jet Light with a lot of pilots quitting. So one can short Jet Airways with a stop loss of 461, target of about 440 to about 428. And Reliance Infra, its rating has been downgraded to A plus from AA minus, which is negative for Reliance Infra. So one can short that one with a stop loss of 442 and a target of about 428 to about 420. In other news and developments, Mines and Mineral Bills has been cleared in the Rajya Sabha on Friday, and this will push up the cost of production for companies like Tata Steel and SAIL and Hindalco, as they will have to pay to set up district mineral foundations to pay compensation to the affected people because of these operations. Shares of Vedanta Resources have gone up about 20% in London as the company has dramatically cut its capex for the year 2015 and 16. So this is again a positive for Sesa Sterlite. ITC is planning to enter the dairy sector next fiscal. They are going to have a milk processing center somewhere in Munger in Bihar, where they are looking at processing about 2 lakh liters of milk per day. In a move to attract the foreign investment in its retail business, Aditya Birla Group is likely to merge its 2 loss-making unlisted entities, Aditya Birla Retail, which runs the retail chain More, and Madura Fashion and Lifestyle with Pantaloons Fashions and Retail, which is a listed entity. And Infosys and Accenture have entered the final lap to clinch about 900 crore IT outsourcing contract from Australia-based financial services provider Macquarie Group. Gateway Distriparks custodianship restoration plea to be heard in April 2015. There has not been any material impact on the operations of the CFS business of the company. Gayatri project has managed to bag an order of about 137 crore, which is a road project. And Cox & Kings has added one more hotel under Meninger brand, which plans to extend the bed capacity to about 12,000 beds from about 7,000 beds. Tech Mahindra has tied up with Hong Kong-based Geofeng Advisory Company, which is a management consultancy firm, to provide technology services to clients in China and other parts. Glenmark Pharma, Delhi High Court has restrained the company to sell diabetes drug Zeta, which is a negative development for Glenmark, and frauds worth about 11,022 crore have been detected in PSU banks during April to December period. In other developments, Gujarat State Fertilizer and Chemicals say that it is lined up an investment of about 15,000 crore to expand capacity. Educom has launched new e-learning product which is aimed at 1 million students to enroll. SEBI board has approved the pricing formula for debt into equity conversion, and Tata Motors board is meeting on 25th March to consider a right issue with a total sum of about 7,500 crore. Here are the list of stocks with positive and negative bias. Stocks with positive bias are Voltas, NTPC and Idea. Stocks with negative bias are Bharti, iBank and Sun TV. Stocks for investment that we like at this point of time are L&T, Aditya Birla Nuvo, Tata Motors DBR, Infosys and Ultratech Cement. That's it from all of us, friends. Have a good trading session and see you tomorrow at the same time.